Correct. Speaking of not paying people, speaking of
Right.
the dark horse of this whole thing, Lamar Jackson. What is happening? I made a short like 2 months ago about this, and people said, Lamar, he's gonna get franchise tagged. He's gonna stay. Blah 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 blah. And now reports come out that they're looking for trades. And as a famous Lamar Jackson hater as yourself, you must feel so vindicated that the Ravens are looking to trade their MVP.
Uh, well, I think this year they finally realized
I like how you
one of
didn't
two
even.
things.
I like how you didn't disagree with me.
No, you're right. One of two things they realized this year. One was he got hurt, and we still can win games and be good, a competitive team without him.
They had two
And
Pro
he
Bowl
went
quarterbacks
to
on the roster.
right, exactly. And I think one didn't like throw a touchdown,
That's correct.
right? um, they're so good, and they're like maybe we don't need him as much as we think. Or two, he got hurt this year, and there's like if we give him all this money and he gets hurt for the next 3 4 years, and we're dealing with backup quarterbacks for the next 4 years and just paying him, where are we gonna be? Oh, we have Lamar. We have Lamar. New year. Oh, week 6 hurt. New year. Week 8 hurt. He's like, oh, is that worth it? Is that worth 200 million? $200 million, and I think that's really what they're negotiating and contemplating as an organization.
Right. I think there's two factors that go into play, and let's speak like let's. I can't. What am I trying to think of right now? Let's hold on. Let me get there. Let's not call a spade a spade. I don't know. Let's just be honest with the situation here. The large percentage of doubt being sowed into Lamar Jackson by the Ravens from the Ravens organization is his ability to stay healthy. Because most people, yourself excluded, would say that he's a very good to great quarterback, maybe top five. And you even think he's like around 8 or 9. You just don't think he's like an MVP guy.
I don't think he's like elite.
Right, exactly. Which is fair. I have come around. I used to think no, I think now yes. But I got a big thing with people getting injured. It's like the Anthony Davis thing. It's like I never think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, not because they don't have the talent, but because I don't think that guy is going to play when they need him to. And it's
Mm-hmm.
starting to be like that with Lamar. Another another thing though that people need to talk about, and people are rightfully talking about, is that he's 1-2 in the playoffs in his whole career. The only team he's beat is the Tennessee Titans, and that was because Ryan Tannehill and his receiver were not on the same page, and there was an interception at the end of that game, or he'd be 0-3.
0-3.
Now, the one game he played, he was like a rookie, and he came in for Joe Flacco, so I don't really blame him for that. And
Count
then
that.
the other time he lost was against the Tennessee Titans. So he hasn't really played Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or Josh
Correct.
Allen in the playoffs. And now you got to throw Trevor Lawrence in the mix, and then maybe Aaron Rodgers is going to be very right there too. Like we don't know. So it does beg the question: would you pay him $200 million or whatever it's going to be, or would you trade him for a boatload of picks and roll with Tyler Huntley, or try to draft one of these quarterbacks, or trade him for a bunch of picks and then trade those picks to go up and get C.J. Stroud or whoever? That's another thing. This offseason is filled with quarterback question marks where there is no like, oh, Tom Brady's a free agent, we'll just sign him. It's all question marks. Derek Carr, you don't know if he's good enough. Aaron Rodgers, you don't know if he's going to wake up for the game on Sunday. Lamar Jackson, you don't know if he's hurt, if he is he actually hurt or is he
Right.
just protecting himself for the contract like NBA players do. It's a mess.
It's a
And
huge thing this offseason, and I agree. And it's like you said, there's no free agent who's like, we're gonna go sign him. It's like all these trades, like you gotta give up all this, and it's like, is it worth it to give up all this, or what should we do? And I think, like you said, makes it more of a mess and like very like a lot of past years.
is it a leap year? Or is this the last? Or are we in
No,
the last
no,
month?
last
Okay,
day.
that's crazy. I just looked at my date here. I'm like, wow, it's gonna be March 1st tomorrow, and I got stuff to
Correct.
do March 1st, and I thought I had longer to. Okay, I gotta do some homework when we get off here. Yeah. So if you're the Raven, okay, so let's do crystal ball here. It's
Can I say
2020.
something first?
Of course you can. This is your show.
um, I think if Lamar never got hurt this year, the Ravens would have gave him $250 million, 200 guaranteed right there, paid him. He would have got paid already. If he
Right.
didn't get hurt, he made the playoffs. Just say they even lost in the playoffs, they were still giving him money. But this year they were like, oh my god, he got hurt. Is just what he's going to look like. And I think they're timid. They're scared right now. If he gets hurt again, like we can't deal with this. I think that's a huge thing. If he didn't get hurt, even if one play game or lost, they would have paid him no matter what. They wouldn't even questioned it.
You know what really hurt him this year too? And it reminds me of the well, part of
If
it
the
reminds me
backup
of
was a Pro Bowler,
well, well, yeah, sure. I'm kind of going there. But do you remember when Le'Veon Bell was like, "I'm sitting out for more money," and then James Conner came in and had like a 1,300-yard season and it was like amazing.
yeah,
So
yep.
what hurt him is the Cincinnati Bengals playoff game for two reasons. Well, for one reason, the reason being that they almost won the game. Now it hurts him because not only did it show Ravens fans and the Ravens organization that we could almost beat the Bengals without
That's what I
him,
was saying. Yeah.
but you know what else it showed? That if he was playing, we would have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that root for the Ravens, and there are people that work for the Ravens that not only have said we're frustrated that he gets hurt, but that some people thought that he might have been able to play. And the thing is it worth it for Lamar to play in that game at 70%, re-aggravate an injury, and then you're really not getting paid? Now, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, it would have been worth it because you're not getting paid right now either way.
Well, true, but I think he was more going for like, look, you lost a playoff game, you need me to win. If I played, we would have won. Now in the divisional round, who knows what would have happened? You know what I mean? We just beat the Bengals. We just beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and I think he's like, I'm sitting out because if we lose, it's gonna show. Same thing what Le'Veon Bell did. If I sit, it's gonna show that how much the team really needs me. And I think it's working more for Lamar than Le'Veon because like you said, James Conner went off.
Mm-hmm.
But if he played, they would have won. And I think that's really the statement he was trying to make.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I do think it's sneaky backfire though because they still almost won the game. Could you imagine if they would have won the game?
That'd be insane.
Then next week, how does he not play?
Because you think he would have played?
Next week, I do. I actually think he would have played
Oh,
because
he's
then
like,
it's
oh,
like,
all of a sudden we're in the divisional round. I gotta play.
well, because he was like questionable for the wild card round. So it's like, okay, we won this game. We're a game away from the AFC Championship, and you're still not gonna play. Phil Rivers played in a playoff game with a torn ACL. Now Phil Rivers wasn't in the contract season, but it's still a fact that he did that, and they didn't win, but he did it. I don't know.
Good point.